Hi everyone. I made the I didn't make nothing. I mean, I don't want the picture. This is an unpaid video. Okay, so I decided to make this part 2 after I made the first part of what if Naruto became Dante. Excuse me. But anyways, so last time we left off, and it is, well, Naruto basically found out about, the QB and everything that's happened to him. Also, he has, gained Dante's personality. He has his mother back. Virgil slash Kurama basically has both parts of his chakra as yin and yang. So, yin and yang half. So that means Virgil's back to whole. And can do creation of all things. So that's how he brought back Kushina. And Naruto's basically demon slash devil blood, demon blood, is stronger than it should be because even it weakened to a point. But to be fair, the less basically demonic blood he has in him, the more human Naruto is, the more demonic, the stronger the demonic blood would be in my mind. And I kind of realized I kept on saying, Virgil said, devil blood, but you know what I mean. Demon, demonic, whatever. Alright, so Kushina is basically alive, as I said. Minato kind of is upset with the village. Everyone besides the Ichiraku's basically were treating Naruto worse than canon. Well, I'm talking about worse than canon, like Hiruzen wasn't there for him, truly. He was manipulating Naruto. And even though I made it where he basically was going to make Naruto a weapon for Konoha, I still believe that he can basically get rid of his emotions because he is a ninja and it is for the village. But there are some things that even he can't allow to happen. So that's what I mean, he would have basically Anbu, help Naruto, take care of Naruto basically with the beatings that the villagers would have done. And, basically his place is cleaned up and such. So yeah. So basically those are things I would think that would happen, and Danzo will also be working with Hiruzen on this to make Naruto still loyal to the village. Still making him the weapon that they want, but also basically making him want, treat him better than what they had originally planned, because, yeah, Danzo basically would even be disgusted by what would happen. He's okay with basically getting rid of emotions and letting basically decorations in his probably rooms and such and let them be bare and have no emotions. They still are treated with basically some form of basically compassion and such. So yeah. Anyways, I also kind of realized this is my first attempt at trying to make everyone hate Naruto. Well, basically, I only select few that are there for him. So I know I'm probably messing up a lot and people are not going to like it, but hey, I'm trying. Now, let's begin with basically the story. So this is part 2 of what if Naruto became Dante. So yeah. Just let me double check my Wi-Fi is off though. Okay. I did a quick check and it is. So yeah. So as Naruto basically, Kushina and Virgil are walking to Wave Country. And Naruto goes like, "So, Dad, should I call you? I mean, you said you basically are raising me, even though you're like my great long distance grandfather, right?" Which Virgil, was walking forward, holding Yamato in his left hand. And he goes, "Yes, Naruto, I am. But you basically can call me your father." He goes, "Okay, so how does this thing works with me? I mean, you said I have devil blood. Is that just demonic genes in me, though?" Which Virgil actually glances at Naruto and basically then looks back forward and nods. He goes, "Yes, It is. To be fair, though, your chakra basically was my Yuki, or in a sense, what people would call me a demon, as I am the nine-tailed fox. But in actuality, it's just basically chakra that's very potent. Mortals cannot handle it, in a way. But you are not fully mortal. Well, not anymore, at least. Or half. So you can handle basically a lot more chakra than most. Which Naruto's like, huh. But since you're not sealed in me, he goes, yes. But still, my chakra was a part of you since the day you were born. Which then Naruto's like, huh? Because he just stops and Kushina and Virgil looks at each other and that looks at Naruto. As Virgil looks at Kushina and just says, explain it to the boy. As then he looks back forward and then walks. As Kushina just sighs and be like, alright Naruto, when a female Jinchuriki basically is about to give birth, the chakra basically that would prevent the seal from being weakened will all go to that child basically, or for basically the period of time while the baby's being basically, as Naruto was like, yeah, I get it. I'm not trying to be rude, but come on. Can you get it straight to the point? I don't think we have enough time to basically go through all of this, as Naruto starts walking towards her, she starts walking, towards Virgil, as she turned around and do it. As she sighs and goes, okay, you're right. Probably Konoha, Shinobi are on their way. Quick and straight to the point. Basically, seal was being weakened because chakra was being converted to where basically to help, when you were being basically born. But there was also basically a small chance that basically the Biju chakra will also basically help in your basically being born process. As Naruto goes, okay, so that's why I had the whisker marks. Yes, you had them basically that you were born. Which Naruto was like, okay. So what did that make me? Technically a half Biju? Which Virgil says, no. I converted all the chakra that was inside of you, that was mine, plus the one that was basically altering your basic DNA to make you half demon and half basically human. So, it just helped basically give more of your demon blood and more potency than others. So the next child you have basically will still be a 50-50 human and demon hybrid. And so on and so forth. For the next, basically, let's say you had like 3 kids, and next thing you know, those 3 kids have children of their own, they'll still be 50-50. Which Naruto's like, so how many generations will it last? Like 3, 5, 10? 9, maybe. If you're lucky. As Naruto just nods, he goes like, wow. Why do I feel like basically that's amazing? But yet, I feel like that's also an insult? Whatever. So, as Naruto's back to right next to Virgil, goes like, is there anything I should know? He goes, yes. The reason why I also basically say about, devil blood, it's also kind of a way I can basically say a transformation without any problems. Which Naruto's like, problems? He was revealing it to you too early. Your body is not strong enough and basically has not adapted to your new capabilities. And also, it's growing basically the more nutrients you get, plus your body has become what it should have been all this time. But your height, basically, and everything else will be worked on basically for these past months that will come. So Naruto says, so I guess overall, basically, I have to eat right, train hard, and sleep properly, and basically, have a balanced diet and all and everything, just so I can get basically my healing factor and basically my new demonic or demon power, basically a chance to help me grow. Which Virgil nods. He goes, alright. That seems pretty enough, pretty easy enough. Which then Kushina goes, is there anything else you changed besides that? Which basically Virgil thinks about it and goes, for some reason the Uzumaki gene that he had was basically being blocked. Well, the chakra chains part. Technically speaking, didn't your clan have many basically different ninjas a part of it over time? As Kushina basically thinks about it, she goes, well, the Uzumaki clan was probably around a lot longer than I thought, so maybe there's, as Naruto basically says, other basically people with Kekai Genkais, which basically Virgil and Kushina just nod to that. As basically they do get to the bridge and such, and Naruto sees the Great Naruto Bridge. He goes, they already named it. Neat. Well, yeah, neat. As Kushina smiles at Naruto, and basically Kushina basically now realizes something. He goes, Naruto, your hair. He goes, huh? As Virgil goes, yes. That is basically a side effect of becoming a son of Sparta. Well, a son of Sparta, in a sense, or a child of one, basically, the children of Sparta. Either way, come on. Let's get you new outfits so I can not have to look at those hideous things that you call clothing. Luckily, your body did not grow quickly enough. We had to get clothing that could fit you, with some seals to help. Which Naruto's like, seals? Like, how could they help me? I mean, I honestly don't get it, as he rubs the back of his head while they're walking. As basically Kushina sighs and such, and she goes, it's understandable, but it's part of basically your clan history. As basically Virgil nods. He goes, yes. To be frank, they were smart enough to not let you basically learn sealing jutsu. Well, seals basically. And Uzumaki will basically advance quickly with them. And they'll make basically better seals than most. As Naruto is basically blinking and smirks, he goes, so they hindered me so I want to become stronger than them. I mean, they wanted me to become their weapon. Seems perfect enough. Which Virgil would not. He goes, but they made one miscalculation in their whole entire plan. Which Naruto raises up an eyebrow. He goes like, oh? What was their one miscalculation? Which Virgil just smirks and says, he just points to, he says basically, me and your mother. Or I should say her clan. As Mito Uzumaki once said, you never keep an Uzumaki down, and you can never control them. I may not have liked the woman that much, but that phrase always was true. I know from experience. She's the one woman I always would be afraid of. Which Kushina raised that eyebrow and asks why. He goes, I don't want to talk about it. That's all he says, and they just keep walking. So, by the time they get to the village, Kakashi and basically Inuzuka, Hana, and basically Aburame, basically Shino's father basically is there. And basically a Hyuga, and then basically a couple other basically ninjas. As Kakashi, basically just kind of think, trying to think in his head, basically on why did the demon basically run this far? Where's he going? As basically Paku is there, running alongside them, or in front of them, whichever way. As he doesn't basically understand how could basically someone run this quickly. Basically, in just a short couple of days, even though they said they are just tracking somebody, he doesn't know who yet. So yeah. So they're on their way. They're moving at top speed. And they will probably arrive when Naruto, Virgil, and Kushina are on the way back. Reasons why. You'll find out. But anyways. So, when Naruto, Kushina, and basically Virgil get into, well, the village, everyone is shocked to see Naruto. He looks different. Basically, as I said, he basically grew a little bit taller, but also has some muscles and such, so the jacket's a little bit, tight on him, and either way. As Naruto goes like, okay, is it me, or did this jacket get a little bit more tighter? As Virgil just sighs and says, well, it's basically your healing factor kicking in. And basically your powers are basically helping your body adapt and grow. So, in a sense, it's happening rapidly. That's why we need to get you new clothing with seals on them as quickly as possible. Which Naruto's like, well, let's try to find a place, and I only got enough money on me. Probably just for maybe only one set of clothing. Which Virgil just smirks at himself and thinks, kid, you basically knew how people are after you save their lives. They would probably basically give you a discount. Maybe even give you some stuff for free. So yeah. So basically, Virgil asks where's the nearest clothing store that is, or has even clothing in it, due to the way it looks a little bit. As basically as that person points them to the clothing shop. So when they get there, Kushina basically is looking at, around. Virgil will not look, because he basically his clothing can basically disappear anytime he wants and rechange it. Due to, basically, let's say he found some ways on how to do it through Hagoromo. So yeah, but while Virgil's looking around for Naruto's trying to find something that would look good on him. As then, Virgil found something. As when he finds it, he's actually shocked. As some old memories pop up of how his brother used to act when they first met. Basically, I am including the whole entire DMC, Devil May Cry game. Basically, I know not many people like that, but I like the jacket. I think it would kind of would work on this one a bit. Until Naruto can get the red jacket, or at least Virgil can basically find the material to get it made. And basically, he also sees ninja pants and basically boots, and basically I would say, a red shirt. And the red shirt, basically, when he goes to look at it, he basically feels the material and it feels heavier. So he goes over to basically the cashier and asks about this outfit, and including the shirt. It goes, yeah. That shirt was in Gato's basically mansion. He just got that shipment basically clothing in. They said they found some random design for it, but they improved it to make it where it will work for a shinobi. The shirt basically, how should I say this? It has basically fibers of iron into the wool and mixed together so it will become even stronger. Though it also basically would have, I guess, chain something, or as the cashier is trying to think, as Virgil basically says, no, I understand. Mesh armor basically underneath it, but he basically has the jacket goes, jacket basically has many seals on it. I don't know how basically got someone to do it, but any basically, I guess, top-notch, whoever basically knows how to do seals can basically tell you what they are. I have no idea. Pants, better material to basically, so where it can not be slash, but any thrown objects can basically puncture it, like, let's say, a needle, metal one, most likely will be able to make a hole in them. And the boots, there's regular boots. As Virgil nods to that, as he says thank you, and so he basically goes over to Naruto and says, Naruto, try this on. He goes, sure. He goes over basically back to the cashier, but he heard Naruto. As the cashier's blinking, he goes, Naruto Uzumaki? He goes, yes. How much is that? He goes, consider a thank you present. Which Virgil raises an eyebrow, and he thinks, I thought they would, but I didn't really expect it. Alright. He goes, are you sure? You need all the help you can get. He goes, it's on the house. He helped out basically my granddaughter when she needed food. But Virgil would nod and such, and when Naruto did came out, he basically, looks at Virgil and asks, how do I look? Virgil looks at him and smirks, he, does nod, but he does basically go over to Naruto and tells him what the cashier said, as Naruto blinks and he walks over to the cashier and basically takes out money and puts it on the counter. He goes like, a tip. You deserve it. As he blinks, he goes, thank you. As Kushina basically would come over with some clothing, and basically the guy basically looks at Naruto, and Naruto just nods in a sense, as he goes, I'll give you basically a 50% discount. As, Naruto paid for his mother. The discount was pretty steep. Well, pretty cheap. So, not really much was spent, as, basically Kushina would seal them into a scroll that she would have in her pocket. Which, she looks at Virgil and he just says, I thought you would like to have scrolls with you. That you can basically use your chakra for ink. You learned that from your husband, so. She would nod slowly, as Naruto basically is just blinking. He's like, you can do that with your chakra? He goes, yes, only a high-skilled, basically, skill master could. Kushina was the one who taught your father, so. Which Naruto's eyes widen when he hears that. But beforehand, Virgil would ask Kushina to look at, basically, the jacket. And when she does, she's actually, well, not impressed with the seal work, but she's basically just impressed because it actually has basically a seal for, basically, I would say temperature control, and basically restoration seals so the jacket won't get ruined, and basically water prevention seal so when it rains it doesn't get wet, like the water will just glide off of it. So Virgil says, what do you think you can do to it? She basically looks at the jacket and then at the shirt and pants and the boots. She goes, I could put seals on them easily. What would you want? He goes, for the shirt and jacket, weight seals. We can have gravity and resistance seals. Gravity and resistance seals will only work on, gravity seals will work on clothing, while resistance seals will work only on himself. Virgil will nod. He goes, expansion seals with him? She says that can be easily done. Maybe even, as Naruto goes like, okay, talk about seals after I'm being taught so I can understand what you're talking about. All I'm getting is, you guys can do some stuff that will basically make me way heavier and basically be resistant enough to whatever it is. And then basically to my jacket too. That is all. As Virgil does nod, as he goes, basically Virgil looks at Naruto and goes, Naruto, where are your, he goes, yeah, forgot. As basically Naruto runs back into the changing area and comes back with basically rebellion on his back. And basically Virgil does know that basically Ebony and Ivory are basically behind him. So Naruto was like, hey, quick question. How does rebellion stay on my back? Which Virgil asked, how do you know? He goes, I may have heard you said it once or twice. Or it's like the sword told me. Which he basically has a confusing look on his face as Virgil just sighs. He goes, maybe my brother put some of his memories into the weapon. Who knows? We'll find that out later while we train you. As Naruto basically puts the thumbs up. And when they do leave and such, but they do basically go to a weapon shop to get at least some kunais and shurikens and such. Well, from basically what Gato had, which surprisingly, which basically Naruto was like, wow, they didn't think Gato actually had some of this stuff. Which Kushina probably would say, well, most likely just in case, or after every person any ninjas he basically got rid of. Naruto just sighs, be like, yeah. Which Virgil just would pat him on the shoulder and just says, did not basically think about them in that way of losing. Well, losing basically people that taught you something. Think of them as basically a teacher that moved on. That basically gave you the strength and the power you need to basically keep going forward. As Naruto just looks at Virgil and just nods. And so they would start to leave Wave Country after that. They basically did say goodbye to the people. Naruto wanted to get back basically to wherever they're going. So he basically asks, so where are we going? Like, no one told me anything. Kushina just looks at Virgil. Virgil looks at being straightforward and just says, Konoha. As Naruto was like, wait, I just escaped there and we're going back? Which Virgil just says in a calm tone, says, it's the only place that basically we have at the moment that would actually, be safe, even though we're surrounded by enemies. With your basically new training that me and your mother are going to basically put you through, you would basically be easy enough to, take them on. Anyone. Even though Kage, after basically you awaken your devil trigger. Which Naruto smirks at that. He goes, now, about that devil trigger, what is it? Transformation? Which Kushina actually raises up an eyebrow and Virgil will nod. He goes, yes, it is. It's a transformation that basically will increase your strength and your other senses, even including your reflexes and speed, by a wide margin. You have to figure that out on your own. But basically, it's a transformer into your demon form. Or what you will look like it. In which, basically, with my, chakra, it may basically look like a mixture between a demon and a fox. Per se. Or most likely, you may have the whisker marks. And maybe the ears of a fox. I do not know for sure. You're not strong enough, as I said, to handle the double trigger form. So we cannot basically tell. As Naruto's just basically blinking, he goes, wow, I finally thought I got rid of looking like a fox, and here I am. My demon form is going to look like a fox. Great. At least I'm going to get my good looks from you. As he looks at Virgil when he says that. As Kushina basically couldn't help but laugh at that a little bit, as Virgil actually has a smirk. He goes, well, at least basically you actually have my brother's quick wit still. Or maybe you always had it, but you never knew. Which Naruto just shrugs. He goes, by the way, what's pizza? Which Virgil just looks at him and just sighs. He goes, it's something my brother always liked. Why? He goes, just thought I was hungry, and next thing you know, something popped in my head, and it was named pizza. Which Virgil again sighs again. He goes, it's a good thing they don't make that here. As Naruto just blinks, he's like, okay. I have no idea what it is, he thinks to himself. As Kushina just blinks and goes, what's pizza? He just says, we'll talk about that later. As she will nod. So, while they're walking, let's say basically about 2 hours worth of walk, because they're not in a hurry to get back, and Virgil did say people would come for them. So, yeah. So, when they basically are at the 2 hour mark, Virgil will stop. And he will say, "We have company." When I could tell, maybe as he closes his eyes and focus, he goes, Inuzuka, a Hyuga, and Abarame, and a few other ninjas that are basically Chunin, only two, and basically a Jonin, and another Jonin. You're not gonna like the one that's gonna be there, Naruto. As Naruto shrugs, he's like, I don't really care. Then he basically kind of asked his mom, he was like, hey, is my hair basically still changing white slowly or something? She goes, yes, but it doesn't look like it's going white that fast. Virgil just says it's going to take a couple of days for that to happen. Now, be quiet so you can basically see how negotiation is done. Which Naruto's like, you're just kind of threatening them, basically, and then they're going to go fighting, you're going to show superior skill. As Virgil just rolls his eyes and goes like, I had more experience than you, boy. So, don't underestimate what I can do. Right when he says that, the ninjas basically appear. They're all Konoha shinobis. There's basically, there's basically Kakashi, Shino's father, a Hyuga, and the basically random shinobis, and Hana and Inuzuka. As Naruto raises up an eyebrow, he goes, well, that's surprising. My own sensei's here. Wow. Man, kinda sucks that even he tried to kill me. Meh. That village is just nothing more than basically corrupt people. As basically the ninjas are seeing one man standing in front of them, basically a blonde-haired kid, no whisker marks, still basically the same eye color, a little bit taller, muscular, different clothing, wearing still basically no Konoha, basically headband, but that headband's in his pocket. Weird sword on his back end. When they look over to where Naruto's right, they see Kushina Uzumaki, which they are shocked. As Kakashi basically steps back, he goes, Lady Kushina. As Kushina sees basically Kakashi and glares at him, as she goes, Hatake. As basically gulps. As Hana basically looks at Kushina and she goes, hold up. Okay, as Hana goes like, wait, Lady Kushina Uzumaki? As Kushina looks and sees it's Sum's kid, she goes, oh my god, Hana, you grew up so big! Which she's just blinking and then basically she blushes out of embarrassment because Kushina basically, has a happy cheer, looks all excited. And she basically thinks to herself, yep, I remember her now. As then basically Shino's father looks at Kushina and blinks. As whatever just saw him, everyone just saw him, what he did was lift up his glasses and then rub his eyes and then put the glasses back down, then blink, and he goes, in a monotone voice, he goes, I was not seeing ghosts from my past. You are real. This is... What if it was Shikamaru? Well... I forgot basically, Shikamaru's father's name. Give me a minute. Okay. So it's Shikaku Nara. As everyone just blinks, and basically, Shino's father basically goes, yes. This is just too troublesome, he says in a monotone voice. Monotone voice. As basically Naruto couldn't help but laugh at that, including Kushina, and his Virgil just has a small smirk on his face. As Kakashi snaps out of it, he goes like, Lady Kushina, how did you come back from death, and who was that boy and man with you? As Naruto's about to say something, as Virgil says, that will all be explained after we get back to Konoha. You see, me and my son were helping out Kushina to get back to Konoha since she does not remember much. As he basically, Kakashi's blinking and he's also thinking, crap, if Kushina finds out what we did to Naruto, we're dead. He goes, and then he thinks to himself, wow, this is the first time I ever called that demon his natural name. But still. Which Kushina would nod. He goes, yes, Virgil and Dante basically were willing to help me out to get back to the village. So, I basically want to know why you out here, Kakashi. And she says in a sweet smile, sweet smile as the aura basically around her is deadly. He goes, we're here looking for someone, and we're as Virgil says, a boy named Naruto Uzumaki. With a raised eyebrow, which Kushina can see Kakashi step back a bit along with everyone else. As, Kushina's acting like she doesn't know. She goes, what? About my son? Which Virgil says, before we found you, I met the boy. It was said he was leaving the village due to circumstances he did not want to talk about. So, is that the reason why, ninja? As Kakashi basically does basically kind of glare at Virgil, but it's weakly. He goes, and Kushina was basically thinking they probably haven't thought of basically I just basically was awoken or came back to life and I don't basically have my full power yet. So lucky for me, Virgil's intimidating, and he's the QB, so there's that too. As Kakashi goes like, you're Virgil, right? He goes, yes. Now, tell me, will you take us back to Konoha, or will you still pursue the boy that does not want to go back to a village such as yours? As that gets Kakashi a little bit angry, before he can do anything, all of a sudden Virgil appears with his sword at his neck. The tip of it, basically, at his jugular, basically. As he goes, do not make me stain my hand with your blood, ninja. You basically cooperate with me, and basically my son, and helping us taking back Kushina Uzumaki to the village. Is that understood? As basically he releases some killer intent on basically the group, as basically Hana's basically ninja hounds basically back up a bit, as basically Kaichu bugs and Shibe Abarame's basically body, start buzzing like crazy and telling them to run. As Kakashi basically, gulps and just nods slowly. He goes, good. He sheaths the sword basically very quickly. He goes, now, come. We have a lot to basically catch up on since you basically were probably running at your top speeds. Dante, following along basically what Kushina would, call him instead of Naruto. And she goes, right, Dad. Jeez. You really can't be basically a hassle, Especially when you want me to have my hair dye. Which basically Virgil rolls his eye. He goes, it worked. He goes, we nearly got killed in basically rock country. Which he sighs. He goes like, how I was supposed to know about the whole entire, basically, people or ninjas that want you dead because you almost look similar to somebody. Which Naruto was like, they couldn't let a grudge go. Jeez. They may be ninjas, but they value too much on their pride. Kind of insulting, don't you think? As basically when Naruto was saying that, they were just walking past along, and Kushina was actually following. As Hana goes like, Kakashi-san, what do we do? As Kakashi sighs and says, we help them get back to the village. Which basically they nod. But Kakashi makes a Shao clone and, Paku, he looks down and Paku's just poofed. He already poofed away, he's gone, and he couldn't get enough information from Paku because if he does anything now, this Virgil guy may do something. So, yeah. In a sense, Virgil, Naruto, and Kushina, along with the retrieval team, run back to Konoha. And it does take them basically, it does take them a little bit longer since Kushina is technically not fully back to her basically capabilities, which Virgil actually puts her on his back and help her, which surprised her, which he gives her that look saying do not ask. So yeah. So Naruto just smirks at them, as this just makes Kushina's face go a little bit red out of embarrassment, which Hana and Shibe Aburame could not help but chuckle. The Hyuga is just some branch member. So yeah, he does not chuckle, but he does find a little bit of amusement in it. And this one, basically, Hyuga member has been quiet the whole entire time, and he does recognize the chakra, including basically the Kikaichu bugs, but they have not been able to say anything due to the presence of Virgil, and they don't want to. Well, I mean, Shubei doesn't say anything because he doesn't want to. The Hyuga clan member does not say anything due to the fact of he doesn't really want to say because he doesn't want to die, and two, since basically Kushina Uzumaki is there, he kind of put two and two together. So Uzumaki Naruto, Kushina Uzumaki, the Red Death's son. Yeah. But the entire QB ceiling and everything else doesn't make no sense. So he's trying to figure this out on his, in his head. So by the time when they get back to basically, the Hidden Leaf Village, they basically, I would say, Hyuga only came up with a theory, but he doesn't have 100% proof of it. Now, though, when they get back, Kotetsu and his friend, basically the Eternal Gate Guards, basically look at the retrieval team and saying like, who are you? As Kushina still on basically Virgil's back as he kind of was dozing off a bit, as Virgil just sighs like, Uzumaki, Kushina. Just, huh? Oh, hi. As he says, Virgil Sparta. Well, not my... Yes, actually, which they kind of confused. He goes, I have basically a name I took on for my friend's sake, but for now, Virgil Sparta. As basically, they look at the kid that has, some white hair and most of it blonde. He goes, Dante Sparta. Which then basically Kakashi explains the situation to them, as he does not say about the whole entire... He was threatened along with his team. So, they basically allowed them to get to basically the Hokage. So, yeah. So while Naruto, Virgil, and Kushina, and the retrieval team are, going to the Hokage, some people are looking and wondering who they are, as Naruto just doesn't really care, as he sees a couple of girls look at him, and basically, even though he's short for his age, just grew a little bit taller, these civilian girls that just look at him because of, he's different and such. They're not gonna look at him basically with anger or with fear and just ignore him, since the white hair and his looks has changed, quite a bit. All the baby fat left, I think I said in the last video, but not then. To be fair, basically he is growing, at a rapid rate. Well, yeah, rapid rate. By the time he got to the wave country, he probably did get rid of all his baby fat. So, he would just look at them and smirk, as some of them would probably just blush as Virgil just looks at him. And then he looks at Virgil and goes, what? They were looking at me, and basically I could tell they were talking about me, or, us. So I just smirked at them, and they blushed. Which Virgil says, do not start basically becoming. He goes, I'm not going to start talking to girls that I have no point in talking to. I don't really care about them that much. Which that kind of basically does not shock Kushina, but Virgil would not even be shocked by it, and he would nod. He goes, yes, there's no point in talking to those who basically scorned you in the past. He will whisper. To only where Kushina can hear it, and Naruto because of his hearing. Kakashi and them were not paying attention because they were trying to wonder how did they tell the Hokage. So yeah, everyone though has been seeing Kushina, they're shocked to see it, as even though Kushina Uzumaki basically is around, people are now getting a little bit of images of Naruto because the Uzumaki and now the personality kicked in when they kind of realized it, even though that technically was fake. Basically, let me tell you this, his personality would have been like Minato's. A lot more of Minato, but with a little bit of Kushina appearing once in a while. Imagine Minato with a short temper, basically. So yeah. Anyways, though. As Naruto basically, Virgil and Kushina get to Kage's tower, and they get into the office, as Hiruzen looked up, he basically had his pipe in his mouth while he was doing the paperwork, and then it just drops onto his robes. all basically the tobacco ashes on his robe as it starts, well, smoking a bit as he just suddenly realizes and pats it down off of his leg as Kushina smirks. As Virgil's impassive looking as Naruto really does not care, but he notices a few things around and says, because he can feel the glares, not glares, but he can feel the looks on their, well, not faces, he can feel their eyes on him, including one that basically that's near the near basically the bookcase, but he doesn't really care. So he just lets it go. As basically Hiruzen goes, Kushina, you are alive, but how? Did someone bring you? She goes, don't ask questions about it, oh man. Virgil, could you, as he puts her down, on her feet, and she says, thank you. She basically glares now at basically Hiruzen and unleashed a lot of kill on her tent that makes all the Anbu plus the root basically fall down to their knees as Naruto is even buckling underneath it as Virgil's just fine it, but he helps out Naruto, and Naruto gives him a painful look, which just nods and says, we'll help you basically get used to killing her tent this strong. And he goes, right. But then Hiruzen's like, gasping, and she goes, how dare you betray me and basically my husband, as his eyes widen, including all the people that are in the room, because her killing intent is actually going, not just in the room, but a lot around the village, to where people have basically noticed it. They basically are rushing to the, Hokage Tower, to the ones who haven't, they're just on the floor, basically wondering what's going on. As Hiruzen goes, Kushina, I don't know why she basically says, wanted to make my son a weapon. As she's getting close, as basically she's going to crack her knuckles and such, I would say just then, Yugao, Enko, and basically the other basically Jonins plus the clan heads appear in basically the Hokage's office as Yugao basically appeared right in front of Kushina and then in shock seeing who it is. She basically could not believe it as Yugao was about to say something, but then Kushina just pushed her out of the way as Hiruzen basically gulping, he's basically thinking, how could, before she can do anything, all of a sudden a hand goes on her shoulder as she's basically about to glare at whoever it is, but then she notices it's Virgil as her all-killer tent leaves as he says, do not worry for these fools. I will personally take care of them. After all, they do not deserve to basically your blood, their blood on your hands. In which she's just blinking and she's about to say something and goes, I know you value family, but this is more personal for me. As her, basically she understands now and nods. So, basically he just looks at her and goes like, now then though. All of a sudden though, two astral blades appear in mid-air right above the root Anbu and pierce his chest, his back. Hit him in the heart, killing him instantly. As he asks for basically a privacy seal to be put up. Privacy and sound seal, basically. As Kushina does make the hand signs and slam her hand on the ground, and everyone is shocked by this. Which Naruto just whistles and goes like, wow, that's neat. I really gotta learn those. They'll come in really good handy for, whenever I get basically frustrated at something, I guess. So now he starts thinking about seals. Which Kushina smirks and Virgil couldn't help but actually chuckle a bit about that. Which Hiruzen goes like, who are you? I was like, I am Virgil of Sparta, and I want you to call a council meeting. After all, I have basically a few things I have to say about Naruto Uzumaki's whereabouts. As Hiruzen's eyes widen and he basically asks the privacy to be taken care of taken off as Kushina doesn't, acknowledge him as Virgil says, I am not done yet. And I would like to talk about basically some of your actions. After all, the actions basically you have took for Uzumaki Naruto are basically, how should I say, repulsive, inhumane, and, quite frankly, I'm disgusted by it. Which Hiruzen basically, actually tries to, start to release killer intent on Virgil, but Virgil just looks at it. Well, looks at him with a raised eyebrow. And then he realized what he's doing, and then he actually couldn't help but laugh at that bit. As that shocks Hiruzen and everyone else, because not Kushina, everyone else was shaking, basically, when Hiruzen did that, as he goes, "You think that scares me, you old monkey? That does not even basically make me even frightened, or even make me sweat, or shaking my knees. I just think that's a pathetic waste of time that you're trying to intimidate me. So, call the meeting of the ninja, civilian, and your basically council. After all, they all had a hand in some way or form of basically Naruto Uzumaki's treatment. But at least he looks basically at the head of the clans, and he says, at least a few people tried to make Naruto's life better. To a certain degree. As those people who tried actually smiled. And Hiruzen just, basically just nods, but inside he's cursing at this Virgil Sparta. And so the council was called. The ninja council was there, but the civilian council took a while. Well, until Hiruzen basically had them basically being, taken to basically the council room. As some of the basically villager council was grumbling, the shinobi council's not. They're just waiting, and basically the elder got there. Hiruzen sits in his seat. He was like, "Now then, is everyone here?" As everyone just nods as the doors close, as then basically the room would, basically glow a bit, I would think, as then basically Hiruzen would say, "Let this council meeting start. Now then, where are the whereabouts of Naruto Uzumaki?" Which Virgil just says, Virgil will be sitting down while Naruto's basically actually standing next to Virgil, while Kushina's also standing next to Virgil. Naruto's on his right, Kushina's on his left. He goes, quite simple. Actually, Naruto basically is in this very room. As everyone's blinking, and they go, huh? Some people basically are just skeptical. As Mr. Virgil just rolls his eyes. He goes, we'll basically come back to that later. Now, you are probably wondering why I wanted to basically talk to all of you. Which basically some people are nodding, which Virgil says, I'll go straight to the point. You all basically owe a lot to Naruto Uzumaki besides the Aburame clan. The basically, Inuzuka clan, even though some members basically did attack Naruto in the past due to losing someone they cared about. And, soon Inuzuka already took care of them. As soon basically nods, and then basically goes, and the Nara clan. Shikaku Nara. The Naras have never basically tried to harm Naruto in any way possible. They actually have tried to help him with strategy basically on how to get certain basic things to him. Like supplies that basically would help him basically cook, even basically bathe with. As basically everyone's trying to wonder how he knows this. He goes, oh yes, I'm the only civilian in this council room that actually have tried to basically help out Naruto. Surprisingly, the Haruno woman. As she's just blinking, she was, how do you know I even tried to help him? He goes, which basically, he just looks at her and goes, you tried to help him basically by at least leaving something in an area where he always went to get away from people. The library, funny enough. You left a meal there for him every day. Which her face, basically gets a little bit red, and basically she's actually wondering how. Which Naruto's just blinking, and he thinks to himself, huh, so Sakura's mom actually made me a meal? I mean, it probably wasn't much, but still, got me for the day. that helped me basically not be so malnourished. Gotta thank her later then. But what should I have for dinner though? As he starts thinking of that, as basically Hiruzen's just blinking, he goes like, "How do you know of all this?" As Virgil smirks, he goes, "Oh, quite simple. I was very close to Naruto Uzumaki." Very close. You can you can say we were inseparable. As basically Hiruzen basically narrows his eyes along Shikaku and Choza and Inuichi a bit. As Danzo asks, "And how is that even possible?" He goes, "Oh, quite simple." And then all of a sudden, basically, his eyes, well, he closes his eyes, and then all of a sudden they become red and slit. And then basically the power rolls off of him. And basically 9 tails basically appear behind him. He goes, "I'm the Kiryu no Kitsune after all." As everyone was shocked and terrified and could not move from the sheer power, as soon as it basically came, it disappeared. As Hiruzen goes like, "But you should have went to the Shinigami if Naruto died and should not be here. How is this possible? And how do you look human?" You people do not understand nothing. You not know nothing, and yet you think you know everything. How pathetic are you, people? Which Danzo is basically glaring at him. He was like, "So the boy failed to seal you, and he's dead?" He was, "On the contrary, he's not. As I said, he's in this room. Isn't that right, Naruto?" Which he goes, "Yeah, that's right. Now, can we get this over and done with and start making such a theatric of this? Jeez, so what? I want to just get back and eat something. I'm hungry." Which, basically, Virgil just had a sweat drop a bit, including with Kushina. And everyone else just blinking as everyone's eyes widen. As Hiruzen's about to say, "Naruto," as before he even finished the Kun part, they just hear the sound of a bang as Naruto basically, felt something hit his, well, not hit his ear, but grazed it, as there was basically a hole right behind Hiruzen. As he takes off his Okage hat, as there was a hole where his ear basically was on the side of it, for that white part of it, going basically backwards. He looks and he sees basically a small hole there. As he looks back at Naruto, looking at him with not basically a care in his eyes, he goes, "Next time you say that name with the kun suffix again, I won't miss." And he puts back his gun. Ivory, basically. Ebony and ivory. So everyone was just shocked by that. Hiruzen basically has a curious look on his face as he asks, "What are those weapons?" And Naruto says, "Sorry, can't tell you. Family secret." He goes, "What family? You are an orphan." He goes, "Yes, because his father, Minato Namikaze, sealed me inside of him. A foolish mistake, I must say, from my bloodline." Which everyone's just blinking, and the civilian and the basically, actually no, everyone would just shout at him, saying he was not a demon, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. As Virgil just basically all of a sudden has multiple blue blades right at their necks, basically, and he just says in a cold tone, "You will all be quiet. I do not basically, speak until I say so." As everyone just basically shuts it immediately. He goes, well, since now you all have basically stopped acting like basically children, allow me to explain something. My name is basically Virgil Sparta. My brother, Dante Sparta, are, unique people, you can call us. We're basically the child of basically a human and the child of a demon, Sparta, and a human named Eva. This was many, many years ago, before even chakra was even founded, before basically the Rikunin Senin. Hagoromo Otosuki. Before anything, you can say, the age before chakra. As everyone's just blinking as Hiruzen cannot, does not understand it. It was, demons did exist. Actually. They hunted me and my brother down because of our father was a traitor to the demon kind. He's the one who basically saved the world from them, sealing up most of his power away to close the gates to the underworld. And, well, become weak due to it. And over the years, while he was basically in the human world, he fell in love with a woman named Eva, our mother. And we were born many years later. After basically we hit a certain age, our life changed forever due to basically demons came back to the human world and wanted to kill us and basically our mother. I was not so lucky. I nearly died, but I was saved. Though, I basically had to go for a transformation of mindset for power, and I would do anything for it. My brother, on the other hand, basically was not so lucky. He basically had his basically resisted his demonic heritage, and his hair was black, until he accepted it and such during basically a fight that we tried to kill each other for the very first time. Though that is a different story for another day. As Hiruzen, as actually kind of getting into the story along with some other people, including Danzo, it was now though. After that, my obsession for power began again. This time with a fury when I became cold and emotionless, and I did not care for humans. I accepted my demonic heritage, while my brother basically kept his humanity in a sense, accepting his human side but not his demonic side, until we met again when we were both 19 years old, and, well, he unlocked he accepted himself, became stronger, we fought. I basically was defeated. We fought again many years later, and then basically I lost again, but he freed me from basically the Demon King's control, Mundus. But the next is, after I basically somehow survived and get rid of myself away from all basically Mundus' control, I went to find my sword. And, well, I may not have realized something, and I basically found my sword with somebody I did not know. So, in a sense, took my sword back from this person by ripping off his arm, which was a demon arm, a double arm per se. And I used it basically at my home to basically separate my demon half from my human half. Save myself from dying. But in the end, my brother defeated my demon half while I, V, at the time, merged back with it. And so, my brother and me fought again, and we saved the world for basically my demon's actions, basically of using basically a tree from the demon world, or the underworld basically, to make a fruit that would make him basically as powerful as it possibly could. And so, in a sense, we sealed up the demon world from the human world, stuck there for thousands of years. And in that time, though, before we did that, I found out I had a son. The same son I took basically his devil arm from that held my sword. It was before basically even met my brother basically at the time when we were 19, when I basically brought up a tower. And before I put myself into the demon world, before I was controlled by Mundus. As everyone is just blinking, as basically Shikaku says, so, wait, you're saying you had a kid before He goes, yes. Before basically I met my end in the in the underworld from Mundus, I think it was only a month later, so I did not know at all. As then he goes, okay. He goes, wait, Chicago's like, alright. And then basically, he proceeded to rip off your own arm's son, which he survived. Which he survived, and then what? Then basically you and your brother were in the underworld and doing what? He goes, trying to kill each other. Simple as that. As Shikaku was like, alright, so how did you become the Ninetales then? Since it's clearly you were not born the Ninetales. It was, yes. After 1,000 years, me and my brother decided to leave the underworld. I opened up a portal with Yamato and, well, the demons were basically trying to come to it. My brother told me to go and basically survive, while basically he fought off the demons. He threw away his sword and basically weapons, sidearms basically, into a portal and they disappeared. While with me, I was eaten by something after I came out of the portal. I survived due to my, basically blood and heritage. And after basically the 10 tails was split off from, its chakra, basically the beaches were created. Hagoromo Otosuki made me basically in control of the Nine Tails since I had the most power. So then basically Shibuya says, and you basically could return back to your original form, which is, he goes, this. He goes, yes, is it because of he allowed it to? He goes, Hagoromo basically ask me about it, and I shared my memories with him. He was amazed and shocked and terrified of the age before Chakra, or his mother. But he allowed basically me to, as soon as I take on my human form, I would never be able basically to be sealed away again. Nor would I ever basically be able to be controlled. Which basically that shocks everyone. So basically Danzo says, so you mean to tell me you cannot change back into the Biju form? Well, your nine-tailed fox form? He goes, which basically Virgil was smart. He goes like, oh, I can, but I can never be sealed. Since basically I am back to basically being a full-on human, with basically just chakra in me that basically can manifest into an avatar version of the Nine Tails. So basically Naruto says, so basically you have the avatar of your basically QB form, and you're just going to be in the center of it or right on top of its head while you're controlling it mentally, huh? Like a robot? Which Virgil's like, Virgil will say, my brother has left some memories with his sword, didn't he? Again, Naruto shrugs. Which Virgil just, basically tisks in annoyance. He was, but yes, as the boy said. So, but I do have a half-stage form where I basically will have the tails and the ears. Well, maybe not the ears, but probably the tails most likely. My ears will come pointy though. And my canines will basically become sharper. No whisker marks. As basically everyone's just dumbfounded as basically Virgil says that. But then Hiruzen goes, but how do you escape the Shiki fusion? Virgil just raised up an eyebrow and he goes like, simple. Yamato can cut through space and dimension. Probably even time itself. So why not through a seal? Besides, that Shimigami was weaker than me. So, combined with my basically demon power alone, basically the chakra I hold, it would be simply too easy to defeat. I already have basically back on my full power due to me gaining my gaining basically both my halves of yin yang. So, I cannot be easily defeated. I know it cannot be controlled by the Sharingan, or anything above the Sharingan. Which he thinks, thank you, Hagoromo. I'm agreeing to that. As Hiruzen just thinks to himself, this is basically bad. Ah, yes. Have we also forget to mention basically my son, Nero, Sparta. Basically, lived basically for a very long time and had children of his own, which is my blood. That means, basically, when I say Minato Namikaze is basically from my bloodline, he's my basically great long distance grandson, and that also makes Naruto my long distance grandson. Which everyone just blinks and basically they get a little bit scared. He goes, ah yes, and I woke basically his demonic blood, turn him into basically half demon now. Which, that makes everyone now even start sweating. And I even brought back Kushina Uzumaki since Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki have part of their soul within the seal. Just in case anything happened to Naruto, they'll be able to protect him. As that makes Hiruzen basically gulp. And then basically Virgil now has this smirk. He was like, oh yes. And on the wave mission on the bridge, I got rid of that pesky seal that was a controlled seal, or should say loyalty seal on him. Getting rid of all the other seals on him. Making him technically a shell without personality. An emotionless tool that you would use for, anything easily. Not have a personality at all, so I decided to grant him with my brother's personality. As Hiruzen just basically now just terrified. As Naruto goes like, yep, and I'm ready to basically take names and, you can get the rest. Besides, we got no demon attacks. And that's basically when the village council says, you are still a demon. Which Naruto goes, at least you got this right this time. Which, basically, Virgil will correct him and goes, you are only half demon. Besides, even a demon that's basically on a higher ranking that would talk would still consider never to basically beat a child. Or basically nearly treat him like an animal. They would simply just kill them, giving them a quick death. Which basically Kushina just sighs. Which Naruto can just look at him and be like, I'll trust you on this one. So, Naruto basically looks at the council and says, oh yeah, by the way, since I'm part of two clans, the Sparta clan, which that's probably what the Namikaze clan really name is, and the Uzumaki clan, doesn't that mean something, Mom? As he looks over at, Kushina, as Kushina nods and he goes, yeah, since basically you're the clan head of the clan, next in line to it, actually, you basically can get compensation for all of what they did. Which everyone's just blinking. And Hiruzen's like, Kushina, and she goes, we're gonna get basically his inheritance. I'm gonna take him back to his real home, and we're gonna train him everything basically we want to train him in. Oh, and by the way, I believe someone was supposed to, be notified about him. Which basically Hiruzen just gulping because if I remember correctly, I made the Fire Daimyo, who is in charge of Naruto's basically inheritance, which is the money, as basically he's thinking, this is bad. I did not ever think this was ever gonna happen. My plans are basically foiled. And he was like, yes, where is basically Jiraiya and Tsunade? Weren't they supposed to basically help raise him? Which basically, Hiruzen says Jiraiya needed to basically use his spy network, as basically Kushina just glares at him again and he goes, no. He didn't want him basically to have Naruto basically trained And he didn't care about Naruto because of his research, did he? As this just makes, Hiruzen terrified of it. As Virgil says, it does not matter. Naruto, would you like to take the name Sparta, since the Namikaze clan is technically from my blood? Which Naruto goes, well, you're the clan head. I'm only the next in line. Which that makes Virgil smirk at him and nods. He goes, yes, as of today, the Namikaze clan is renamed to basically the Sparta clan. Which that just shocks everyone, as one councilman from the Shinobi and civilian side says, you cannot do that, basically. As then Virgil raises up an eyebrow, goes like, oh, I am basically the one who, you could say, started everything. Since basically it's from my blood, does not make me basically the head of the clan. Besides, you do not even know what basically I even hold. Which basically one civilian, the same civilian would say, you are a demon. It does not matter. Which Virgil says, yes, and I'm a demon with half a demon with basically with strength and speed, unlike yourself. I can easily kill about all of you. Easily, without even moving from my seat. So, do you want to still try to mess with me, councilman? After all, you are only a civilian. You have no real power over this council. So, try me. And let's see basically what happens to you. As basically, Virgil doesn't even glare at him. He just gives him a passive face, but even then, that still terrifies the person. As Hiruzen just sighs, be like, fine. We should name the Namikaze clan basically Sparta clan, due to the fact it has come for your basically blood, Virgil Sparta. He says, thank you, Hokage. Now then, though, we'll basically go back to your office and go basically unseal the scroll. Well, unseal basically the seal behind Minato's picture for everything. And, look for your office for anything else you may hide. As Virgil gets up, as Hiyashi Hyuga says, we'd not basically dismiss this meeting, and besides, I would say basically Azashi would, glare at basically Naruto, and saying, even if he basically is not have the nine tails inside of him, basically this ninja basically left the as, basically, I would say, Naruto's about to do something, but Virgil just looks at him, and a quick basically sheath as a unique slash as the swords were sheathed, as Sasashi's basically hair and ear basically his hair gets cut while his ear is nicked. And he goes, that was only a warning. Next time, I won't basically aim for basically just a nick and cut a few hairs off. I'll take your head. As Hisashi basically, glares, but it's not as strong as it was before. He was like, and besides, my grandson, or now son, does not have to answer to you. Does not have to answer to anyone. After all, even if he does not hold me within him, he is still strong enough to basically take you on. Which Naruto blinks. He goes like, are you sure? He goes, yes, I am. So, basically, they walk out the council room as everyone just in pure disbelief, as Hiruzen just sighs and tells them to, to go and tell no one about this, because this is a triple S rank secret. So, the only people who are there are the Hamura and basically the other person, and Danzo. As Danzo says, Hiruzen, what are we going to do? Which Hiruzen says, I don't know. I do not think of this to ever happen. Which one of them, other two elders says, this is bad. We cannot allow the boy to get powerful. Which the other one would be, the one with glasses, that's male, would say, I think we have no choice in this matter. We cannot stop this Virgil Sparta. His power is too great, and he's the Nine-Tailed Fox itself. What can we do? We can't seal it, and we can't stop it. Which they hear Danzo basically, gripping his cane as he says, "We'll find a way how to defeat that beast, and seal it away and find a new Jinchuriki." As Hiruzen just sighs and just says, to himself, "I should just let this go, but Danzo won't. Besides, when the villagers find out who the boy was, they'll stop at nothing to harm him. And I fear for my village that it will basically not go as the way they want. They may actually be dead, or badly injured. I am too old for this." So, Virgil, Naruto, and Kushina look through basically the office of the Hokage. Kushina finds Hiruzen's basically Icha books. She's about to do something, but stops as she checks the drawer above it, and she does find basically, I would say, a scroll? Well, basically from Tsunade. And basically Virgil break out the scrolls for, when, behind Minato's picture. Naruto's looking for anything else, and Virgil does try to use basically his chakra to sense if there's any seals around or anything. As then he looks back at Kushina, as Kushina is reading the scroll as basically not Hiruzen, but, basically, I would say Naruto asks, "So, Mom, what's that?" Which she would say, basically, it's a scroll to Tsunade Senju, your godmother. She goes, "Huh? What does she have to say?" She basically, would read it, and it would say something like this. It says, dear Tsunade, you're basically, not you're basically, your godson basically is in the village. We found him. He's actually alive and not dead as I thought. I basically let you to come back to the village, and I would like to explain some things to it. Well, to you. It's about the boy's condition, the reason why I did not tell you. He's basically the Nine-Tailed Fox Jinchuriki, and I want you here as soon as possible. As basically, Virgil reads it, and then basically he looks back at Kushina, and he goes, he admitted basically Naruto's the Nine-Tailed Fox Jinchuriki, and he wanted her here as soon as possible. He did not send this out yet. So that means he was going to try to manipulate her, as Kushina would say. As Naruto would go like, wow, is there anything else we should know? As Kushina goes through the other side of the drawers, and just nothing besides stuff that you would see in the office desk, and she says that's it. So is there any basically, as Naruto would basically take the scroll, put some basically blood on it, wipe on the basically blood lock, and he goes, I kind of understood what it meant. Well, blood seal, not blood lock, I mean. As she just basically smiles in pride, as Virgil has a small smile on his face. When Naruto opens it, basically, there's a seal on it. He basically puts his hand and puts chakra in it. As it poofs, there's a letter, but they basically with a key attached to it. So he opens up the letter, and it's from Minato. As Naruto doesn't even care, he just takes the key, put the letter back in the seal, and gives the scroll back to Virgil. He goes, "We got the key. Was there anything else there?" He goes, "Yes, a scroll from your mother and basically some jutsus." Which Naruto smirks and like, "Alright then, let's go to my new place and I can get rid of my old one." Yay. So yeah, they basically go to the Namekids home, or well, not the Sparta home, and they look around and such. And that's where I'm going to leave it off, everyone. Hope you guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and bye.